Tom loved his wife Sarah with a ferocity that scared him at times. It was a love that consumed him, filled every corner of his being. He loved her laugh, the way her nose crinkled when she smiled, the scent of vanilla that clung to her skin. She was his everything, the sun in his sky. They had met by chance, a cliché encounter in a crowded bookstore, but their connection had been anything but ordinary. Their souls recognized each other, he often thought. They were two halves of a whole. Years had passed, their love deepening with each sunrise. Tom would often watch her as she slept, her chest rising and falling with each breath. He found peace in her presence, a sense of belonging he'd never known before. He would trace her features with his fingertips, committing every detail to memory. She was his best friend, his confidant, his lover. The thought of a life without her was unbearable, a nightmare he never wanted to face. The phone call came on a Tuesday, an ordinary day that would forever be etched in his memory. An unknown voice, laced with malice and a strange sort of glee, whispered the words that sent his world crashing down.
Your wife, she's not who you think she is.
The words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating. Tom's blood ran cold, his heart pounding against his ribs like a trapped bird. Disbelief. It was a cruel joke, a nightmare he would wake from. "Tom, who is this?" he managed, his voice a strained whisper.
Let's just say I'm someone who cares about your well-being. Keep an eye on your precious wife.
The line went dead. Tom stood frozen, the phone slipping from his grasp and clattering to the floor. His world, once so bright and full of love, was now shrouded in shadows of doubt and suspicion. Tom's mind raced, a whirlwind of confusion and anger. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was terribly wrong. He needed answers, needed to confront the source of this poison that threatened to destroy everything he held dear. He tracked down the caller with a determined fury, a fire ignited within him. It was a woman, her face etched with a bitterness that made Tom recoil. She seemed almost pleased to see the devastation in his eyes. "Tom, why?" he choked out, his voice raw with pain. "Tom, why would you do this?" The woman smirked, her eyes filled with a strange satisfaction.
Consider it a public service. She's a master manipulator, your wife. Don't say you weren't warned.
Her words were like daggers, piercing his heart. Tom wanted to scream, to lash out, but a part of him was paralyzed with fear. What if she was right? What if the woman he loved was a stranger? The drive home was a blur. Tom's mind was a chaotic mess of emotions. He loved Sarah with every fiber of his being, but the seed of doubt had been planted, and it was growing with terrifying speed. He found her in their garden, her sanctuary, her face bathed in the golden glow of the setting sun. She looked up as he approached, her smile as radiant as ever. But Tom saw none of the love, none of the warmth that had always greeted him. All he saw was the face of betrayal, the face of the woman the stranger on the phone had described.
"How could you, Sarah? How could you do this to us?"
Sarah stared at him, her smile fading into an expression of utter confusion.
"Tom, what's going on? What are you talking about?"
Her voice was filled with genuine concern, but Tom was too far gone, too consumed by the poison that had been injected into his heart. He recounted the phone call, his voice shaking with barely suppressed rage. Tears welled up in Sarah's eyes, tears of pain and disbelief.
"No, you can't believe that."
But Tom couldn't hear her, couldn't see the love and honesty shining in her eyes. He was blinded by suspicion, by the venomous words of a stranger.